Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into what's being called the longest government shutdown in United States history, a 41-day political standoff that just ended. Speaker Mike Johnson called it 40 days of wandering in the wilderness, while Democrats are pushing back hard against what Republicans are branding as the Schumer Shutdown. But here's where it gets interesting. President Trump didn't hold back, calling out Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer directly, saying, and I quote, he thought he could break the Republicans and the Republicans broke him. Meanwhile, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is standing firm, refusing to explain why some Senate Democrats broke ranks. This isn't just about a shutdown ending. This is about political warfare, blame games, and what happens next. So stick around because we're breaking down everything you need to know. Let's start with the facts. After 41 days, the Senate voted 60-40 late last night to move forward on an amended House continuing resolution. This opens the door to reopen the government until January 30th. Here's what's included in this deal. The continuing resolution extends government funding through January 30th. It fully funds the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, through September 2026, which means food assistance benefits will continue without interruption. Federal workers who've been furloughed or working without pay for over a month will receive guaranteed back pay. And 3 appropriations bills are moving through: military construction and Veterans Affairs, agriculture, and the legislative branch bill. Speaker Johnson made it clear this morning that the moment the Senate completes their final vote, he'll call all House members back to Washington with a 36-hour notice. The goal? Get this bill passed and onto President Trump's desk as fast as possible. But here's the critical part. Johnson emphasized that they need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track the final vote. One senator could throw up procedural hurdles and delay this even further. Johnson's message was direct. Don't do it. Too many Americans are suffering. Now, let's talk about the real-world impact of this shutdown, because this wasn't just political theater in Washington. This affected millions of Americans. Speaker Johnson spoke at length about the crisis in air travel. He had conversations with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who described the situation as dire. Air traffic controllers have been overworked and unpaid for 41 days. Many called in sick because, and this is important, it's already one of the most stressful jobs in America, and it becomes exponentially worse when you can't provide for your family. The numbers are staggering. As of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic U.S. flights were either canceled or delayed. Think about that. Half. This wasn't just an inconvenience. This was a national crisis affecting travel, commerce, and emergency services. Federal workers across agencies went without paychecks. National parks were understaffed. Food inspections were delayed. The ripple effects of this shutdown touched every corner of American life. This is where things get heated, and honestly, this is the part that's dominating headlines right now. Republicans, led by Speaker Johnson and President Trump, are calling this the Schumer Shutdown. Their argument, Senate Democrats, led by Chuck Schumer, held the government hostage to push their political agenda. Johnson said repeatedly throughout the shutdown, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. Johnson praised 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who voted to end the shutdown, saying they put principle over personal politics. His message to House Democrats was clear: pray, think carefully, and do the right thing. But here's where President Trump took it to another level. In a video that's now viral on social media, Trump didn't just criticize Schumer's tactics, he went personal. He said Schumer thought he could break the Republicans, but the Republicans broke him. Trump called Democratic policies bad policy and questioned whether it's Trump derangement or are they just crazed. Trump also made controversial comments about specific Democrats, including Representative Jasmine Crockett, and revisited his attacks on Representative Ilhan Omar, making references to her Somali heritage. These comments have sparked immediate backlash and accusations of racism. But perhaps most notably, Trump said something about Schumer that's getting a lot of attention. "I've known Chuck Schumer. I knew him when he was a person who loved Israel. Now he is Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. Trump added he lost his talent. This is inflammatory language, and it's clearly designed to energize Trump's base while putting pressure on Schumer within his own party. So, how are Democrats responding to all this? House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries held a brief press conference where he defended Senate Democrats, saying they waged a valiant fight on behalf of the American people. But when asked about the 7 Senate Democrats who broke ranks and voted with Republicans, Jeffries refused to explain their decision. He said, quote, "I will not explain what a handful of Senate Democrats have decided to do. That's their explanation." Jeffries made it clear that House Democrats will continue to partner with their allies and wage the fight to stay in the Coliseum. This is defiant language. He's essentially saying the battle isn't over, even though the shutdown is ending. This raises an important question. Will House Democrats vote to pass the Senate's amended continuing resolution? Or will there be resistance? Jeffries didn't commit either way, which suggests there could be drama when the House reconvenes. Republicans are taking a victory lap. Senator Katie Britt posted on social media saying she's proud to have played a role in forging a pathway forward. She called it a great day for the American people and emphasized that there was no need for this to start with. Speaker Johnson echoed the sentiment, saying Republicans were always open to finding solutions to reduce healthcare costs under the Affordable Care Act, but they made it clear they wouldn't negotiate as hostages. But here's the reality check. Yes, Republicans are claiming victory, but at what cost? A 41-day shutdown, federal workers without pay, air travel in chaos, national parks closed, food inspections delayed. Even if Republicans quote-unquote won the political battle, the American people lost. And that's something both parties need to reckon with. So where do we go from here? The Senate will reconvene this morning to finish their work. If they can get unanimous consent, they'll fast-track the final vote and send the amended continuing resolution to the House. Speaker Johnson will then call House members back to Washington, giving them 36 hours' notice. The House will vote, and if it passes, which seems likely given the political pressure, President Trump will sign it immediately. The government will reopen, federal workers will get back pay, and SNAP benefits will continue. But this is just a continuing resolution. It only funds the government until January 30th. That means we could be right back here in less than 3 months, facing another potential shutdown. And let's be honest, the underlying issues haven't been resolved. Republicans want significant cuts to federal spending and reforms to healthcare. Democrats want to protect social programs and push back against what they see as extreme Republican demands. This was a temporary truce, not a permanent peace treaty. Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about what this shutdown really represents. This is the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, 41 days. And it ended not because both parties came together with a comprehensive solution, but because the pain became unbearable for federal workers, for air travelers, for millions of Americans who depend on government services. This is political dysfunction at its worst. And it's becoming a pattern. We've seen multiple shutdowns over the past decade, each one used as a political weapon to extract concessions from the other side. Speaker Johnson said something this morning that's worth noting. Shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has if you study history. He's right. History shows that government shutdowns don't lead to meaningful policy victories. They just cause pain and chaos. But if both parties know this, why does it keep happening? Because in our hyper-polarized political environment, the incentive structure is broken. Politicians on both sides believe they can win political points by being seen as fighting for their principles, even if it means shutting down the government. Question for you. Do you think government shutdowns should be made illegal? Should there be automatic continuing resolutions if Congress can't pass a budget on time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious what you all think about this. We can't ignore the elephant in the room, President Trump's rhetoric throughout this shutdown. Trump's attacks on Chuck Schumer, his comments about Democratic lawmakers' backgrounds, his inflammatory language, this isn't just about ending a shutdown. This is about setting the tone for the 2026 midterm elections. Trump is framing this as a Republican victory over crazed Democrats. He's energizing his base by portraying Democrats as obstructionist and out of touch. And he's putting pressure on moderate Democrats by praising the 7 Senate Democrats who voted with Republicans. This is political strategy, and it's effective. But it's also deeply divisive. Trump's comments about Schumer becoming Palestinian and his attacks on lawmakers' ethnic backgrounds are designed to provoke outrage and dominate news cycles. And here's the thing. It's working. We're talking about it. The media's covering it. And Trump supporters are rallying around him. But at what cost to our political discourse? At what cost to our ability to solve problems together? All right, everyone. That's where we are. The 41-day Schumer shutdown, or whatever you want to call it, is ending. The government will reopen. Federal workers will get paid. Air travel will return to normal. But the underlying political dysfunction, that's not going anywhere. And with another funding deadline looming on January 30th, we could be right back here in a matter of weeks. So stay informed, stay engaged, and hold your elected officials accountable on both sides of the aisle. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're covering politics without the spin, just facts and analysis. And drop a comment below. I want to hear what you think about this shutdown and what should happen next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.